What's going on, folks? You're watching The Hungry Handgunner. Now, I did do a video a few days ago where I kind of weighed in my opinion on the dust-up between Paul Harrell and Caleb Giddings. In that, I never expected that video to get nearly the amount of views or the comments or the reactions. I'm a small channel. That is way beyond anything that I thought would happen with that. But it did kind of let me know that a lot of people are on the same page that I am with how Caleb acted. One of the things, though, that came up, I caught myself defending Caleb in a way because, number one, he is a good shooter. Number two, he has a lot to offer the 2A community. So it kind of got me thinking, the 2A community, especially the 2A gun PewTuber community, it's a big table. There's a lot of seats. There's room for everybody. And I know that sounds funny because I am not an authority on the subject. I've got like 1,500 subs. So, but having watched gun channels on YouTube for a very long time, way before I even thought of starting my own, everybody kind of has their unique spin on it. Even your high-end trainers all kind of have their own spin, their own way of doing things. There's no definitive one true path. There are things that are good ideas and there are things that are bad ideas. And there are going to be different personality types presenting that information. Even if the concept is the exact same, one personality type may be able to get through to one type of person where another one may not. So in that, I've been saying things like, no, I don't think Caleb needs to completely disappear from YouTube. It's not what I would want. I'm not big enough to make that happen anyway. I can't squash his channel. I have no desire to. What I have the desire for is that maybe he will reach somewhere down deep, man up, say, you know what, I made a mistake. If I disagreed with something that Paul Harrell did, perhaps I should say I disagree with that. Not make a whole video saying, you shouldn't listen to Paul Harrell, because that discounts a whole lot of videos, topics, explanations, and everything else that he's done over the years, and it's just kind of a dick move. And I still hold the opinion that he's a piece of shit for doing that. But it's okay to disagree with people. It's okay to disagree with somebody's choice of caliber for self-defense. I personally think 9mm is the best all-around option for concealed carry. There are going to be guys that tell you 40 is, 45 is, 10mm is, etc. 357 mag, the list goes on and on and on. It's okay to have a disagreement. Disagreements are good. Disagreements bring differing opinions, help you weigh the pros and cons. If everybody agreed on everything, that'd be a pretty boring place. How you do that disagreement and how you come across while you're disagreeing with somebody will make or break you, ultimately. When you have a conversation with somebody, there's people way more qualified to teach you about the mechanics of communication, but your first thing should not be speaking in absolutes, implied or explicitly stated. So, again, this is a prime time and ripe topic with the whole Giddings thing. Making a video titled, Why You Shouldn't Listen to Paul Harrell, it's an implied absolute. It's implied that you shouldn't listen to anything he says. Instead of saying, I don't know what else you would title the video, perhaps Why I Disagree with Paul Harrell on Reloading Revolvers. A little bit longer? Sure. Also a little bit more specific. I'm sure that's clickbait. I'm sure he wanted people to click on that. And I'm sure he's gotten his wish, although I think it's backfired a little bit at this point. So, his disagreements with Paul were over reloading a revolver and whether you should look at the target or look down at the gun, which they actually agree on. If he would have actually watched the video that he was critiquing versus just picking snippets to fit his agenda, that would have been nice. And then whether or not you should slap the ejector rod versus not slap the ejector rod. To get off of that train, Sage Dynamics will tell you, Aaron Cowan with Sage Dynamics will tell you that if you aren't running a red dot on your carry gun, he is a big supporter of that, and he'll tell you that you should be running a red dot on your carry gun. Guess what? I do run a red dot on my gun. I'm not going to tell you that you should or shouldn't. It's an expensive investment, and if the choice is between, especially right now, ammunition to train with that gun or training classes to get proficient with that gun, or putting a red dot on your gun, I am of the opinion that you should spend that money on ammo and training. The red dot is cool. It does make you faster and more accurate with training, getting used to it. If you have good fundamentals, the dot is faster. So, do I disagree with Aaron on that? To an extent. Do I say you shouldn't listen to Aaron Cowan? Hell no. He is way more qualified than me, number one. Number two, that would be a foolish position to take. So there's going to be room at the 2A PewTuber table. I don't know that I even really have a seat yet, but I think that a lot of people do have a seat, and I think a lot of people should. I think this is a prime time, especially right now with all these people that have run out and bought guns for the first time. I think this is an excellent chance to take them under our wings and give them some guidance. Whether they look at the target or look at the gun while they reload, smack the ejector rod or not smack the ejector rod, run a red dot, don't run a red dot, who the fuck cares? At the end of the day, let's grow the fuck up a little bit, honestly, and I'm sorry for the language. I don't really have another word that would work right there. But let's all collectively come together and teach these guys, give them what we can. And I know right now, training classes are going to be down, ammo's hard to get, so they probably are sitting at home, doing their social distance, self-isolation, whatever, non-essential personnel. I was essential until last week, and they shut our plant down, so I'm home right now, kind of already going nuts. But that is what it is. Let's give them some good resources online. This will probably be the last video of this type that you guys see from me. I'm not one to want to rag on people or name drop to get views. That's not really what I have in mind for this channel. So for those of you that are disappointed in the drama, I'm sorry. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt like I needed to say something. To those of you that came here because of that video, and there's a lot of you, a lot more than I could have ever imagined, welcome to the channel. Definitely glad to have you here. And if you think that I'm going to be making these drama videos, don't plan on it. I don't say never because that's an absolute, but I have no plans to do this as a regular thing. If something else like this comes up, I may address it, I may not. So overall, I think this is a great time to reach out to new gun owners, regardless of where they fell before all this started. They could have been vehemently engaged in anti-gun debates with you before this started, and for one reason or another, they have shifted their position. Now they find themselves either wanting to get a gun or having just bought a gun. I am one of the most staunch 2A supporters that you'll probably ever meet. And I have frequently engaged in dust-ups on Facebook with friends and family and everybody else about gun rights. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. If they have come over to this side in good faith, and I hate that it took that feeling of fear and vulnerability for them to acknowledge that there might be a valid reason to own a weapon. I hate that it took that for them to see at least part of our side. But I would much rather take this opportunity to not inundate them with all gun rights are infringements and stuff like that, which I do agree with, but to answer their questions. If you send them a quick video on Messenger, just showing them how to clear their gun and be safe with it, go over have some conversations about the 4 basic firearm safety rules. Have some conversations about some training benchmarks that you think they need to get to when they can get out and get some training. That is the sort of conversation we should be having right now. And I think it's going to be crucial in the coming weeks and months and whatever else comes of this. Eventually, things will get back to normal. I don't think this is the end of the world. So when things get back to normal, we can have a whole bunch of people that quietly go and sell their guns and pretend like they never had them. Or we can have a group of people that say, you know what, I never want to feel like that again. Saying, I don't want to feel defenseless. I want to continue having the means to protect my home, my family, myself, perhaps put food on the table. Whatever their reasons are now, I would much rather them hold on to that mindset. So I think collectively gun channels, and I'm tiny, so I doubt the big guys are going to see me, hear me, pay heed to me if they do. That's fine. I can't control what goes on with other people's circuses. I can worry about my monkeys, my circus, and that's about it. So I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more forgiving, particularly with some of my more staunch anti-gun friends that now find themselves wanting to buy a gun. And I would challenge all of us to do that. This is a sad time. There's a lot of people sick, dying, out of work, financial stress, everything else going on. But I think that we should collectively focus on the positives. And to that end, if you're sitting there face palming, asking what positives, a lot of families are having family dinners for the first time in God knows how long. A lot of people are getting more time with their kids, and without all the distractions that go along with just day-to-day life, as it were. A lot of people are focusing on what's really important. You have a unseen, unheard, commonly undetectable enemy that is wreaking havoc on society. So, sorry, I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but I would challenge everybody, if you don't think there's any positives right now, get out a pen, piece of paper, and at least come up with 5 things that have been positives out of this experience. And who cares if the negatives way outnumber the positives? There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to just kind of take charge of what you can control and surrender the rest to whatever. Not particularly religious, but whatever gives you peace, just kind of let that go. Handle what you can, let the rest go. So, with all that being said, guys, I've rambled a little bit here, but I think it's time for all gun channels to kind of let bygones be bygones. And if you have a issue that really needs a video made about it, about the way somebody else does things, disagree with that. Don't slander people. And Caleb, if you happen to see this, I think you're a phenomenal shooter, dude. I think you have a lot to offer. I don't think that you're going to be able to offer what you have to offer until you get that ego in check. So, with all that being said, stay safe. Keep shooting if you can. I'll see you next time.